Hey, what's up, gentlemen and ladies? Happy Armistice Day to New Zealand, France, Belgium, and Serbia. So I'm sure that all of you have been keeping up with the news of the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Project Scarlet, as both Sony and Microsoft are getting ready to reveal their next-gen consoles probably sometime very soon. And with all of that also comes many developers teasing projects and games that they are planning for those next-gen consoles, Square Enix being no exception. They're heavily hinting at this project being worked on by their third development division, but wait, what exactly is this third development division anyways? Well, get ready for a small little bit of Square Enix dev team history. Historically, Square Enix Japan has been split into two cities, Tokyo and Osaka, and these usually used to be called the Tokyo and Osaka teams, and in fact, you might still hear a lot of Kingdom Hearts fans refer to the KH devs as the quote, Osaka team, but we really don't use those names anymore, primarily because it's not very specific. See, the Osaka team is just one team, but the quote, Tokyo team was really more like 5 different teams. So back in 2013, when Square got a new CEO, they decided to use the business divisions model, renaming all of their teams to Business Division 1, 2, etc. BD1 were like the Square Enix A team. They had worked on the Final Fantasy X and Final Fantasy XIII series, so when time came to remake Square Enix's most popular title, Final Fantasy VII, they were the ones put on the job. BD2 were the devs working on Final Fantasy XV, and it was made up of the quote Nomura team from Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, a holdover from back when he was the director of FF15, as well as the quote Tabata team responsible for Crisis Core and Type 0. So pretty much these were like the action-heavy teams within the series. The Osaka team, who had previously worked on Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep and Dream Drop Distance, were renamed to BD3 and were fittingly put in charge of Kingdom Hearts 3. BD4 was mostly in charge of some of the larger scale Final Fantasy spin-offs. BD5 under Naoki Yoshida was their quote MMO team, mostly just working on Final Fantasy XIV, and then finally BD6 was the Enix side of the company, pretty much just focusing on Dragon Quest. There was also like Business Division 7 and 8 and a couple other ones, but those don't really matter as much, so we're not really going to go into them. Now, where does this third development division come into play? Well, remember how I mentioned before that Square had 2 major conglomerates in Tokyo and Osaka? Well, this new team was basically supposed to be kind of a third major studio, hence the name Third Development Division, and it's actually being formed from what used to be Business Division 5, aka Yoshi P territory. That's right, Square Enix's next large-scale next-gen game is being headed by the director of Final Fantasy XIV and the team behind that game. But what does this mean for the game? Does it mean that it's going to be another MMO? Well, I don't personally think so. See, first of all, it's kind of bad to assume that Yoshida is a one-trick pony who can only work on online games. I know many people who love his work and dedication with FF14. I mean, let's be honest, this man pretty much single-handedly saved the company's biggest failure in their entire existence and turned it into one of the most popular and well-received games of its genre ever. I personally wouldn't really mind seeing him work on something more single-player and narrative-driven. Now, that's not to say that FF14 isn't narrative-driven. I actually haven't really played much of it, to be honest, but you know what I mean. But also, the fact that they're rebranding the team really tells me that this isn't going to be the case. Because Business Division 5 has always been known as the, quote, online team. That's what they did for Square Enix, so if they were just gonna have them work on another online game, why bother with the rebranding? But they're coming out saying this is a new studio named the Third Development Division and we're working on a brand new next-gen game. I kind of get the vibe that this is going to be something new from Yoshi P. And add to that the fact that Square's been hiring like crazy for this new team, meaning that they need new talent that they might not otherwise have already had with FF14. That, and also the fact that they might be keeping FF14 going, as Yoshida has stated in the past. I mean, with Shadowbringers just coming out this past summer, the game is showing no signs of slowing down, and it makes sense to me that they need more people if they're going to be keeping this other game going while actively working on a new next-gen title. But what exactly do we even know about this new next-gen title? Well, honestly, not much at this point. We know that it's going to be a, quote, core title, whatever that means, and we've gotten this concept art for it, which I don't know about you, but that looks very Final Fantasy XIV-y to me. You got a little dude down there in the corner looking at a dragon over this scenery of a huge fantasy city and a castle. And let's also not forget that only a year ago, Square Enix's CGI studio Visualworks released a demo named Character Prototype when they started hiring as well. This to me was very reminiscent of the whole Witch tech demo for the Luminous engine from back in 2012 that many people thought had the possibility of eventually turning into Final Fantasy XVI. But what do you guys think of this new Yoshi P game for next-gen consoles? Be sure to let me know in the comments, because I'm honestly really interested in knowing what you guys have to say about this. And I know, my second video released in less than a week. It feels good to be back, guys, I'm not gonna lie. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you feel like supporting me, then you can always do so through Patreon. And speaking of which, shout out to Deeth for being a Patreon supporter. But either way, that's all that I have for you guys today. I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to blitz that like button, subscribe, and as always, stay tuned, Kupo.